Welcome to the stream. Returning once again to entertain with my wit and utter humiliation, it's time to watch your favorite Canuck fail. So sit back on your Chesterfield, crack a brewski, and grab your poutine. But today we join together in peace, harmony, and a whole lot of ass-fuckery. Now, it's time to crank up that energy, so bring it on. Hype it up, pass it around, and put it in the chat. Let's hype this motherfucker up. Hell yeah!
Helps if I mute myself. There we go. Okay. Back into the world of streaming. I'm going to move the chat to a side I can see. There we go. There we be. All right. Musics. I got the side ducking on, so music shouldn't be a big issue. It should be okay. It'll be like, yeah, I think it's a comfortable amount. I think it's pretty good. Not too much. When I'm not speaking, of course, when I speak, it should vanish and go away. But I think we're going to be okay. Okay. Hello. I'm just getting back into streaming more often. I'm hoping, at least. And I know it's like the middle of a day on a Wednesday, so probably not going to have a lot of people show up and say hello, but nevertheless we're gonna stream like we have them. So yeah, I really have it set up, my life set up at the moment to do streams in the evenings at the moment, because you know evenings happen and I want to spend some time with my partner and watch various things and do various stuff, and generally just doze off because my back hurts. Old man stuff. But nevertheless, let's get into this. So today we're going to do mostly tabletop development stuff. I'm going to focus probably mostly on Neon Flow, although I would like to talk about some Cypher stuff coming up and some topics about Cypher while we're working on a completely different game. So it's going to be, I would say, kind of a mixed bag. We're going to have the third-party stuff I'm working on, and we're going to have some Cypher stuff. So let's get into it, shall we? Was I not? I wonder if I was smart enough. Okay, I did put it low latency, so it shouldn't be too bad as far as people chatting and me responding to them. Yes, Devin, I saw that you had chatted that you can actually like catch a stream. I appreciate you. You've got some good advice and some good feedback, so I appreciate you being here. Let's get into it, shall we? Actually, one thing I will do for anyone that is able to see said things, I will go into the super secret channel. I forgot my intro stuff. I will go into my super secret channel. Anyone that has the ability to get into the super secret channel can hang out with me. We can discuss RPG stuff. It's sort of like more of a hangout stream. Collab. Who has the collab thing? I'm like just going through and I'm like, who can actually see this channel? Come to think of it. You know, I'll give it to a few people here. If anyone wants to jump in, do you have it? There, Devin's got it now too. I think old Gus has already got it. And Destructor Boy's got it. I'll even give it to Charlie. Anyone that wants to talk, there's now the super secret channel in my thing where you can come and just hang out if you wanted to. This layout looks fantastic. Thank you. I am pulling a Tyrone Poons, as you may know him, also known him as Indestructor Boy, where he develops while he's doing layout. Normally, I would never, ever, ever in a billion years do that, but I'm giving it a try. I want to see like how he's doing it. Like, ignore the siren in the background. Someone's dying or something. But yeah, this is kind of what the book is shaping up to look like. Oh my God, just pass already, will you? Slowest moving emergency vehicles? Oh my, come on. Yeah, this is the book is, so this is the first, like, some of you know about it. This is the first real, I would say, showcase of the book so far. The book is sort of near future, postmodern. It's got I guess sort of magical elements to it in a way. It's almost like a Shadowrun type of thing, but not. If you're familiar with like the style of animes of like solo leveling or books like Dungeon Crawler Carl or whatnot, where it's like it's real life, but then it's got this weird like digital fantastical elements layered over top of it. That's kind of what's going on. The neon happened, or as the nerds in the book call it, the phylotic energy matrix, and it sort of layered this like digital realm onto the real world. There's like pockets reality, and it's like there's basically the more people that will something or believe something, the more likely it is to happen, which causes all sorts of fucked up shit. So, you know, like Jesus with AR-15s and teenagers exploding each other's junk and stuff like that. So yeah, that's a thing. But yeah, this is my own system I've been tinkering with. It is the KED engine, and I'm still narrowing things down. There's still going to be, I'm not married to anything here, and there's a couple of things I'm flip-flopping back and forth on. Reminds me of the fake movie poster titled "Holy Fuck, It's Ninjesus." I don't know what that is, but I want to know now. Holy fuck, it's Ninjesus. Oh, I see it's even on like t-shirts. Well, some people have cleaned it up to holy shit, it's Ninjesus. Lame. I'm not pulling language on this one. There is plenty of swear words and shit in here. This book's not for kids. It is meant for adults. There will be adult themes in it. Yeah. But yeah, this is what I got today. So we can go over like some of the basics, but today I am mostly doing expanding upon character stuff. So since it's the first stream showing this particular project off, because Void Home's kind of on pause until the new version of Cypher's released. I'm developing some of it in the background, but there's some stuff I'm not going to be showing off or whatnot because I'm working on stuff early before it's released officially and a license, so I can't really show it off. But I can show this off because it's my own shit and not shackled by like any licensing or anything. So yeah, so let's go into playing characters. Oh no, I wanted to show off playing the game stuff first. Playing the game. So The game is relatively easy. There's actually not a lot of stats or math you need to worry about. A lot of the game is actually fairly reactionary. I wanted to make it where basically I wanted to find the nice balance between a game that was fairly light on the rules, all things considered, but had a lot of like tactical decision making in the moment. So the main stats that your character will have are these facets. They're somewhat in between aspects from Fate and the experiences from Daggerheart type of thing. They're a little more heavier and interactive like the aspects from Fate, but they do have a numerical modifier, kind of like the experiences from Daggerheart. There's a lot of games that actually use a similar premise to this, but basically your stats are going to be like custom sentences that represent core facets of the bigger you. You start with 2, but you can have up to 5 of them. And as bad shit happens to you, they can even be overwritten by the GM to like do things. Jumped in the secret chat, but didn't want to interrupt you. Oh, no, you're welcome to, bud. Feel free.
Hello.
Yo, I see you in there. So yeah, we got the facets, which is like the closest thing to a stat. Originally there was a defense stat when the GM was rolling dice, but I think I'm going to make this. The other night I decided I'm going to try it out, but I think I'm going to make this a player-facing system. I think it's going to be like Vagabond or Cypher or whatnot, where it's just the players doing the roll, in which case the defense stat was no longer needed. Devin, how do you feel about player-facing versus non-player-facing systems? If you have any thoughts on that.
Sorry, my dog pulled the plug on my headphones. What did you say?
Oh, fucking puppy. I was gonna say, how do you feel? I had just decided that I've turned this into like a player-facing system, so only the players roll the dice. Which is why I got rid of like the only other stat really the character had for the most part. I'm still torn on it though. How do you feel about player-facing systems versus non-player facing systems?
Honestly, I have grown to like it. I didn't like it initially when I first started Cypher. It felt really weird giving up dice rolls, but it's grown on me a lot, and I kind of like the idea.
Yeah, I'm always torn on it. On one hand, the GM's got a lot on their plate already. Like you're doing storylines and worlds and all the NPCs, and you're running all of this shit. So offloading any sort of rolling onto the players is kind of awesome. Plus, if the players make all of the rolls, they always feel engaged. Like it's always the player's turn, so to speak, even when it's not the player's turn, which I really, really like. But at the same time, sometimes I miss rolling the click-clack math rocks.
I agree with you on the misrolling, but I also think it helps with some of the like GM adversary situation because, you know, the GM can't be adversarial in fudging dice rolls if the players are rolling everything.
Oh, I hadn't thought of that. Yeah, that's a very good point. Yeah, I hadn't thought of that bit. It's because the players are doing all the rolling. There's no worry about fudging things or modifying things, or you can't be like, oh, the GM's rolling really good today because the GM didn't roll shit. So, yeah, that's a very good point. That's why I like having people chatting in when I'm kind of like sitting here doing stuff. So I got rid of, so the only closest things to stats, as I said, is the players have their facets, which have a modifier to each one of the facets. And then actually, if I just go to character creation, I can show exactly it. So core stats, I got to get rid of, there's no defense anymore. I can get rid of that. Beep, bye. Okay, I'll get rid of this orphan in a second. So you begin. So the closest things to stats you have one contingency slot, which are like game changing, like narrative, almost like built-in player intrusions, but pre-coded, kind of like ciphers, kind of not. It like I said, it works. They're a little more of like a generic category. It's almost like guiding player intrusions instead of leaving them entirely open. And then how many inventory slots you can have by default, your potential, and then how much, and then you start with no resistance dice. The way the game works is there's very little in the way of math because the only modifiers you have are those facets. Everything else is pools of D6s, which you can physically have sitting in front of you. So your potential is up to a maximum of 6 D6s that are sitting to the side. Your resistance dice are D6s that can be sitting to the side. And then as you build up momentum during the course of a conflict, you build up D6s from that. And then when you want to do a thing, you're just picking up the number of D6s you want to do for the thing, and you can either roll them or burn some of them for things like modifiers and stuff. And then that's basically it. So it does come down to kind of a tactical thing because everything costs momentum, including defending yourself. So sure, you could go and like attack someone like a whole bunch of times, or maybe do something really big and like a really big hit or something like that. But then if you've got no momentum left and someone does something to you, you don't have any way to defend yourself. So you really kind of have to think about that one and balance things tactically.
Feels almost like an anime where you can put it all in and do this really crazy thing, but now you're open.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going for. Somewhere between like the awesomeness of an anime where you can like pull it all in or do a whole bunch of fast things, but then you're open, or you can be more balanced approach, or even something almost like a stamina system from like Dark Souls or something like that, where it's like, yeah, you could keep rolling and defend yourself against attacks, but then you've got nothing left to give her on attacking you, that you're doing attacks and stuff. So yeah. But that's pretty much how the stuff goes. And then your abilities and whatnot are determined on what we're basically going to be doing today, which is focusing on the talent matrices. So, but yeah, that's basically how it goes. The health system, there's no hit points or anything per se. What it is you get it as you get hit, and you don't want to get hit because you can only get hit a few times before it really sucks. But as you get impacted, because I'm going with the same thing I did with Void Home, where it's more abstract, it's not like damage per se, but you get stains, which are like facets. You have 3 slots for stubborn stains, which you can still call upon stubborn stains just like you do your own facets for a bonus. You never know. If you can be creative, maybe sometimes a bad thing can be turned into a good thing. When the GM calls upon your stains, it's extra good for the GM. I do have to flip some of the math because the GM doesn't roll anymore. But yeah, so the GM can call upon them. And then there's permanent stains, which actually overwrite your character facets. So something so traumatic or major, it has actually changed the core concept of what your character is about. And then if you fill all your stubborn stains, you become at risk. So a big thing about this game, especially in combat, is cover. You want to get cover as much as you can, because that's one of the going to be... I try to make it like an action movie. It's like in most action movies, you don't see people just constantly dodging the bullets. It happens, but not as often. They're mostly taking cover to deal with like incoming, because this is like modern or near future, but with fantasy elements. So I really wanted people to rely on cover more often than dodging, because if you've taken cover, letting that eat the incoming attacks and stuff doesn't cost momentum because it's just eating it for you. So definitely trying to garner a certain play style here. It is an initiative-free system, bouncing back and forth who has the focus depending on the types of roles that you do. And the main
that feels very Void Home to me.
Yes. Well, I like initiative-free systems, so I kind of wanted to stick with that. It's not as open as something like Daggerheart. I found Daggerheart is great, and I really like the fact that it's so freeform, but I think for a lot of players it's too freeform. I've had times when players are stumbling over each other because they're not sure, like, should I go twice in a row? I feel like I'm taking the spotlight too often, and some quieter players get dominated by the louder players, and it kind of sucks sometimes. So this is reined back a little bit because it's got like a refresh to this, which is when you get your momentum back. And that happens whenever the players decide it happens. So those quieter players, maybe they haven't done as much, but they'll have a lot more momentum saved because they haven't done as much. And then the players that are like, I want to do a thing over and over, they're going to run out of that momentum really quickly. And then they'll be like, well, I don't have anything to do the thing anymore. Then the quieter players get to catch up and be like, okay, well, I still have momentum. I want to do the thing. So balances.
That's a nice self-balancing.
Yeah. Another thing is the momentum. I don't like when a conflict drags out, and sometimes they can drag out a little bit. And I wanted things to become intense over time if it is starting to drag out. So the amount of momentum you get every round scales by the number of refreshes that you've had, basically. So everyone starts with one momentum die at the beginning of a conflict, and they can use their potential dice as momentum dice as well. Then once everyone's decided, okay, it's time for a refresh, that's the second refresh. So everyone's going to get 2 momentum dice. And then on the third refresh, everyone gets 3 momentum dice, so that things become a little scaled and crazier the longer the conflict goes on. Maxing out to 3 momentum dice each, because it starts to get crazy, especially since the GM is getting that number of momentum dice per player that they're dealing with. Although I might be changing that a little bit now that it's player facing, and just maybe suggesting tokens instead of dice for the GM, since they're not rolling anything.
Oh, but what if they're like you and me and they like rolling math rocks?
Well, I don't know. I did remove there's other things to roll for. There's the, tables on random stuff and everything like that. But on a general thing, I think one of the other benefits of making it player facing is I also wanted to incorporate something for solo play. In case they wanted to basically recreate solo leveling in an RPG form or something like that. Which, if it's already player facing, is that much easier to set up. So I think I'm going to retain. I'm going to stick with the player facing. I flip flopped in the system 3 times, and whether it's player facing. But I think I'm going to stick with it. I think it's the best way to go.
Yeah, if you want to embed solo play, then that totally makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Because if you want to do solo play, I want to incorporate something called the what did I call it? The assistive. What did I call it? I think it's on the first page. The applied story system, or ASS. So if you want to use my ASS, you can use my ASS to play with yourself. Right. There's a lot of poopy jokes and stuff in this. Like I said, I didn't pull punches. There's swearing. It's a very adult thing. One of the consumable items is just going to be straight up cocaine.
if you're going for cyberpunk, then like that just makes sense. It's not a super kid-friendly genre.
It's not. And like I said, it's not quite like cyberpunk. It's more like a weird mystical digital realm layered over top of like modern day. But that does, I mean, if you believe hard enough, maybe you manifest giant fucking guns 10 times the size of your body that you wield, or your arms turn into weird tentacles, or like who knows what. Depends on the talents you choose and your own imagination with your facets. So the book, and this is, I accidentally gave myself a little leeway here if my editing ends up not being the greatest, but the book is written from the point of view of a specific kind of neurotic character. So there's like bits of it scratched out where she's kind of gone on tangents. She's writing things in the margins. Even the rules themselves, although I've tried to make them succinct and clear, is written in a bit more of a conversational tone. Even if it is still trying to write in a clear mechanical nature. I'm hoping that not only is I'm hoping it makes it interesting to read, while not bloating it by going as far as the bullshittery that White Wolf did with the vampire books, which was just like rules embedded somewhere deep amongst a page of story, which I always fucking hated. Yeah, unguided play. This is my ass, so if you want to use my ass. The core of the system.
I think I commented on that once. Oh, sorry.
Oh no, that's fine.
I think I commented on that once before when you sent that paragraph to me. I just love that it gets bigger every time you write it.
My ass, my ass, my ass.
Yeah, just fantastic.
I still got to do some tweaks to clean some stuff up, especially now that it's going to be all player facing. There's a few things I've got to switch over for bonuses the GM was getting, but for the most part, there was less work to do that than I thought there was, partly because of how relatively light I made the system. So thank you, Past Me, for doing so. Yeah, there's the momentum. The name of the like actions in the system are feats, because you're doing a great feat of strength or feat of imagination or whatever. I just thought feat was a good word, especially since I wanted it to be, it's not always like in Void Home, it's not always combat. It might be like a bake off on TV or a social conflict, or maybe you're dealing with finances. I mean, you can use this because everything is in a weird digital landscape. You could play a campaign where just everyone's working in this like extreme like office building and like you're fighting HR for your paycheck. Like if everything is over the top and crazy, then it's not always a combat per se. And then, yeah, types of feats, retries. I keep things simple with measurements, and it's just in zones. There's no like even categories per se, just the number of zones away. Focus.
I'm finding I like abstracted distance much more than the hyper specificity that comes with certain games.
Yeah, for sure. Downtime and countdown. So yeah, easy peasy. So today we're gonna work on. Oh, and I started some of the equipment. Like I've got some basic weapons and armor. Some people are commenting because I had posted examples of the armor on my Discord. There's like the really basic armor of cardboard mail or children's mattresses. But then you start to go up to things like cop vest, boob plate, leather jacket, force field generators, heavy fantasy shit, unwashed nerd smell. So all very realistic armors and stuff.
Super hyper realistic, you know. If you've been to a con, you know.
Oh, right? Yeah. Now, needless to say, this is meant to be a sillier but adult sillier type of game. I like, don't get me wrong, I like a lot of games that are serious in nature. I mean, Void Home is like the complete opposite of this. Everything is dark and serious and like it's got a gravitas to it, being like a sci-fi horror and sort of realistic. It is meant to be like a hard sci-fi. So for this is like the opposite of that. Although deadly, everything is over the top and extreme, and there's too many serious games these days that aren't willing to go that bit extra silly. Character creation is pretty easy to go through. Get your concept. Your past and present give you your first two facets, which you can fill out more as you like do character stuff. For future, so it's concept, then past and present, then future is your motivation. This is kind of like a hyper streamlined version of character arcs from Cypher. There's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 motivations you can choose from. And it's just there's no there are the individual steps, but it's not in the same type of structure. Really, you're just aiming towards the final completion, which gives you a certain boon. And they're more of like a generic category meant for you to customize, whereas something like the character arcs in Cypher were a little bit more specific with a lot more suggested like steps to it and everything, where this is just like a personal quest with that ends in a specific boon or like extra, like getting an extra contingency slot or earning an extra breakthrough or something like that.
So these have gameplay ties. So do you see them being something you can do more than one of these over the course of a campaign?
Yeah, I could see it. It's so the way it's suggested is a motivation should normally play it out in say like a 3-act structure. And then depending on how long you want the motivation to take, it suggests that it would take like probably a good 3, 6, or 9 steps, because obviously 3-act structure, in order to kind of complete these things. And you still get breakthroughs by doing a step, but it's just to take a while, depending on the pacing of the campaign. If it's a very short campaign, then 3 steps is probably good, and you can hopefully knock out 1 or 2 of these motivations in that time. Obviously, if it's like a one-shot, or like I call it quick play games in these ones, motivations they're not really needed on a mechanical level. That's just something to include in your character, like maybe even in one of the facets. This is more for long form play, but I could see a couple of them getting done. And then you get your options where everyone gets a starting kit. So the kit, it has a list of talent matrices that I'll explain how that works in a moment, but it's got a 2, I'm still deciding, 2 or 3, probably 2 talent matrices tied to each kit. And then maybe like an extra like piece of equipment or something depending on the kit. And then gear is determined by the scenario that the GM has chosen. It's similar to the scenarios I made for Void Home. Obviously different scenarios, but basically these are like pre-packaged campaign setups. Like, are we going to be doing wet work? Are we doing mostly portal delving? Or are we all just in a band and trying to make it big? Like things like that. And that's character creation, basically. So the main thing is the talents. So this is how talents work. So there are going to be basic talents. Anyone can purchase from basic talents, regardless of whether it is on your list for your kit or not. But the way it works is a talent matrix, and it looks complex, but really it boils down to being very easy. But a talent matrix starts with the origin point, and then you can choose from a letter for your second talent in that matrix, or tree if you want, A, B, or C. And then depending on which letter you chose, you can choose one of the numbers that it leads to, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. If it is on the list for your kit, you can go back and eventually purchase all of the talents in this tree. But if it's not on your kit, you can only ever do the origin, one letter, and one number, and then that's it. So you can never like specialize in it. But you can dabble in any of them. You can meander around and try any of them. But there's also restricted talents. In order to get a restricted talent, you need to unlock it randomly from a specific achievement, finding it in a loot box, or having your character buy the DLC. There may be other ways you can unlock it as well, but those are the main three ways: is achievements, loot box, or DLC. You can very much see the gamified layer kind of over top of this. So obviously a very rich character will end up having some advantages over a non-rich character. So you can buy the special stuff. And then of the talents, you can only ever have one form talent. This is something that physically changes you. So think of it like having like it being an elf, or having an anthroform, or the advanced ones might be like vampirism or werewolf, something like that. And then the talent trees or talent matrices will be a mixture of some are going to be just like basic passives, providing you extra momentum on certain types of things. And then some of them are going to be based around introducing and then expanding upon an ability. Like one talent tree might be flight, and the origin talent will be the ability to fly. And then from there on, it branches out on how long you can maintain it, how fast you can go with flight, how much you can carry while flying. And then in the numbers, it would expand those particular ones even more. So that is what I'm kind of working on today. Just trying to figure out what sort of talents to work off of. I've got some I was kind of working on, but I think I wanted to make more of these talents. I want to make them interesting. I want less of them to be passives and more of them to be like the origin of the talent to be an ability, and then the rest of the talents in that matrix to be expanding on the ability. I think that would be more fun and more interesting.
Right, so you don't want it to just be like, oh, you get this, like, for an equivalency's sake, +1 bonus to your whatever. You want it to have something unique.
Right, like I've got a couple here, like computers and cooking. Those are pretty generic. It's not providing you a specific ability. So it's just going to be like, cool, you get bonuses in certain situations and doing certain things. But then I want like, one that would be like power fisted. Like I've got one here, power punch. Or I might rename it to say power fisting, maybe. Which is going to be like its origin is going to be a special attack or ability of some kind, and then all the others build upon that. That's what I want most of them to be. So I just got to think of them.
It makes sense. It makes it feel like a character can specialize or not, depending on their choices.
Mm-hmm. Depending on your kit, if a kit, like say I have a brawler kit or something, power fisting would probably be one of them, in which case you could eventually pay to unlock all of the abilities. So that's 10 abilities, because it's 6 and then 3 letters and then the origin. Whereas if it's not in your kit, you'll only ever be able to buy 3 of them. So you can sort of dip into it, but you'll never be as specialized as someone that has the kit. Except for I was going to make a kit where you didn't have any talent matrices associated with it, but I was going to provide another benefit in response to it. I just hadn't decided what yet.
What do you mean? I'm not sure I'm getting it.
So each kit, think of it like almost like your class or whatever. has 2 of these talent matrices tied to it that you can unlock. So you can unlock all 10 abilities in the tree. And then if it's not in your kit's list, you can only ever unlock 3 by going origin, then a letter, then a number.
Got it. Yeah, I just didn't know what you meant by the one that wasn't
one of them
tied to.
Yeah, one of them isn't going to have those 2 talent trees, talent matrices listed. It's not going to have any listed. So you don't have any where you can unlock all 10 talents to it. Unlike, so it's...
so they'll just be like a generalist.
Yes, but I have to give them another benefit as a result. I just haven't figured out what yet. I don't want to make it so that they can choose any talents, because that's like, why would you take any other kit? But it's got to be something decent. Either that, or I make it more like, what's the one class in Dark Souls where you start out with basically nothing?
Oh, I know what you're talking about. It's like the Deprived or something like that.
Deprived. That might be it. Yeah, the Deprived, they just kind of start out with like basically nothing and then just equal stats and everything. But nothing good per se. And then they just start out with like a club. So I could, like, one of them could be something like that. So we'll have to see. I could give it where they have like an extra like stubborn sane slot or something like that.
That might be good. Or I don't know if this is too good, but maybe another facet slot. That way a permanent, because you said if they get too many permanent stains, it does something to their character.
Yeah,
or is
when they get the stubborn stains, here I'll bring up playing the game. When they fill out all their stubborn stains, then they become at risk and they have to choose the thing. Here we go, at risk. So if you become at risk if you receive a stubborn stain but have no open spots for it. And if this happens, choose one of the following. So you can accept defeat. You become temporarily defeated. It is up to the narrative what form this defeat takes. You could be unconscious, flee, whatever. And then you roll a d6, and on the roll of a 1, you get a permanent stain, which fills up an empty facet slot. But if there's no empty facet slots that aren't filled with permanent stains, then it starts to overwrite the facets that you chose.
Okay.
You can push yourself where you can stay active in the scene. You regain potential, and the GM automatically adds a permanent stain to your character. But you cannot choose that option if you have no more room for permanent stains. And then final act, you restore your potential to its maximum. You ignore any limits to the number of stains you have, but your character becomes doomed. And if you were to receive another stubborn stain during this time, you're immediately and permanently defeated. And doomed just means that at the end of the scene, the character's done. There's nothing you can do to stop it, but you get to play out the rest of the scene.
Okay, yeah, so giving them another stain slot of some kind would definitely be a decent trade-off.
Yeah, I think so. And you can actually restore yourself. You can actually restore permanent stains. So when you there's no experience or anything in this game. It's you get breakthroughs basically, and you can save the breakthroughs up. So whenever you achieve a step into motivation, or if the GM thinks that you guys like achieved like a good plot point for what you're doing, or like completed the mission or whatever, you can receive a breakthrough. So it's possible to receive more than one breakthrough in a session, although unlikely. And then
it's kind of like a milestone.
Yeah. And you can save them up. And then whenever you have downtime, you can choose for one of your downtime options to be to train, in which case you can utilize a breakthrough. Breakthroughs, if we go back to the character section, contingency, where is it? Motivations, improvement. I like how improvement, it's like so short. I made this a very light system. So at the end of a session where the GM decides you've achieved something special in the story, you completed a motivation step, or if the group decides you deserve it, then you receive a breakthrough. You can have as many breakthroughs saved as you wish. You must use a downtime option of train to use a breakthrough. Each time you train, you can choose one of the following. You can gain a talent that you meet the prerequisites for. You can fill an empty character facet with a bonus of +1, or you can spend 2 breakthroughs to increase the bonus of an existing character facet. Or you can recover, in which case you can remove a permanent stain, turning it into an empty character facet slot. So,
I like that a lot. I especially like the if the group decides part. I have always been a huge fan of being able to have the players reward each other for stuff.
Well, especially since once I started switching this back over to being player facing, I like the idea of I'm calling, instead of solo play, I'm calling it unguided play, because there's no reason you can't play co-op without a GM. It's really no different than playing solo. You just don't have a GM. So I'm calling it unguided. And in this case, the players deciding together is very important because there is no GM. So if all the players are like, oh man, that was awesome, you deserve an extra breakthrough this session, like that should be a thing if you're just doing co-op. Which, especially if you're doing like dungeon delving or whatnot, and like the portals that have appeared throughout the city, then I mean, like, it's really easy to play this as a beer and pretzels game if you wanted to, rather than a deep storyline. You can go either way. Like, you can have this deep, fulfilling storyline, or this could just be like a beat 'em up beer and pretzels game. Sometimes you want that.
Sometimes you need that.
Yeah, for sure. So kits, like, I haven't filled out any of the kits yet either. I'm sort of coming up with ideas. A couple of them I even like took the names like Boffin from that I was using in Void Home. But there's things like the Barbarian, Bush Person, Edgelord, Sploder, Soldier. I gotta make them, probably come up with more interesting or silly names for some of them, but yeah.
Keyboard Cowboy.
Yes, Keyboard Cowboy. That's gonna be like the hacker one. So slowly replacing some of the more boring names with better names. And then each kit comes. Oh yeah, each kit is gonna have its own starting perk. A list of talent matrices tied to that kit, which is, I'm thinking I'm only gonna make 2. I'm not sure yet, and then possibly some bonus gear. Yeah, that's kind of where I am right now. And the default setting for this, although it's on Earth, so you can set it in any city you want. But basically, the way the setting works is, it was the more people there were in an area, the crazier things got. This is, although it's sort of cyberpunkish, kind of digital world, it's also a little bit post-apocalyptic, because if all of a sudden every crackpot out there believed suddenly started coming true, society's just going to implode. And the more people there are, the stronger this effect got. So the bigger and more dense the city, the crazier things have gotten. So I have the main city that the setting takes place in is Yokohama, Japan, because it's right next to Tokyo, which went full fucking nuclear. Like, say, I think Tokyo is the densest city on the planet, isn't it?
I don't know.
Oh no, technically Manila is.
Yeah, in the Philippines.
Oh, interesting. Okay. But it doesn't have the overall same population. I'm not just looking at density, but overall population as well. Yeah, because Manila's up there, but it's only got 1.8 million people. actually, Tokyo, for pure density, Tokyo's not nearly as high as I thought it was. It just has a massive amount of people.
Yeah, it looks like Jakarta might be pretty up there with 42 million.
Actually, for a numbers game, Mumbai, I think Mumbai might be a good place for a second setting when I eventually up it, because that's a shit ton of people in a fairly dense area as well.
For your next DLC?
Yeah, for the next DLC. So the first one is going to be in Yokohama, partly just because I'm more familiar with it. But Mumbai looks like a pretty good second. I'm trying to I have no problems using like New York or Los Angeles or Toronto, like things that people would be more in our Western audience familiar with. But at the same time, those are covered to death, and I know it's got a familiarity to it, but I don't mind branching out. I mean, like Yokohama and Mumbai, these are places I can't think of any games that really take place in those areas. So I wouldn't mind branching out a bit.
That makes sense.
I don't know as much about Mumbai, so if I do that one eventually, I'm probably going to have to go be like, hey, someone clue me in. I don't know nearly as much about India. It's not a place I've ever had an interest in visiting, and probably won't in the future, but could still be interesting. But yeah, the default setting in the book is going to be Laser City, Yokohama. And that's where it's going to start. Okay, so I've got some other ones here. So I'm going to get rid of this generic DPS one. That's boring. I do need to think of a couple of generic ones that are needed for just like character advancement, just for getting extra potential dice and stuff like that. They won't be ones like that. I don't think would be tied to any particular kit, because I wouldn't want you to be able to overly focus in it. But I do need a couple of generic ones. So let's see, or even just one or two generic ones. If I can't think of a good name for self-betterment. I guess self-betterment works. To the thesaurus. RPG. Thesaurus. Self-improvement. Another term for self-improvement. Personal growth. There are nouns. It is do growth, maturation.
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
What is... Ontogenesis? I don't think that'll work. Let's go with growth for now, and then we'll figure out something better sounding later. Let's do this. Growth. Okay. Comes to personal development. Your therapist is very proud of you. But not so proud that they want you to stop paying $500 a week for therapy. Still, good on you. All right, that's all I'm gonna have is for now. I can always change this up later. I just need to slap something in. So this one should be pretty easy because the origin one is just gonna be +1 maximum potential. So to give players an extra edge, I should mention as well. So your potential dice, it's like you start each scene with your potential restored to maximum. And these are like extra momentum dice, regardless of what you save or get or do otherwise. Right now, I've got them starting each scene with 6. I'm wondering if that's going to be too much, but we'll see. But these are like, regardless of what happens in the round or how many refreshes you've had, it's nice to start each scene with a little bit of extra oomph, just in case.
That makes sense, because you want to be able to at least start out doing something, since you said the momentum is like a ramping thing, right?
Yeah. And especially like to defend yourself, unless you have armor or cover, costs momentum. So if you want to dodge, parry, or resist, it costs you momentum. So if you get into a conflict and all of a sudden like 3 guys attack you and you only have that 1 momentum because it's the beginning of a conflict, that's where the potential may come in. So
yeah, that's a good idea. Especially if you have the players getting kind of ganged up on or something.
Yeah. So I think I'm gonna do the same thing, +1. I can say max. There we go. So A is gonna be +1 to max potential. So if they're going from origin to A, max potential. 2, I will say, is max potential. So if they just want to go through this talent tree and get nothing but maximum potential increases, they go from origin to A to 2. What I like to do for these talent trees, if I can, is I like to do a main center that's like the origin is like the theme of the talent tree or the talent matrix. Then I like to, if I can, branch out to 3 different specializations of it. And then this way, there's going to be 1 number that continues that specialization, and then there's 2 numbers that are shared between 2 letters, or there's 3 numbers that are shared between 2 letters. So like A and B could both go to 3. So I like that one to be kind of like a hybrid.
I really like that.
For example, there was one striker one I had been considering where it was like the core of it was just that you just get extra damage dice to all attacks, but then I was going to have melee, ranged, and then just a generic like damage boost or whatever. I forget what the third one was. And then this way, if you continued on the melee, which would be A, then 2 would be once again just melee. Whereas if it was like the combination of the melee and ranged for 3, it would be like thrown weapons, for example, or something like that. So it's kind of like hybrid. It's not always going to be the case, but I think that's pretty good design as it sort of branches out and gives people a logical progression of why it's set up this way.
It also helps with the idea if you want 2 abilities that kind of go in the same direction, you have options on how you're going to make your build to grab that.
Right. Okay, so growth. We got one that's just max potential. I don't have a lot of stats. This is almost difficult in some ways. So the other one would be, I guess, inventory slots. +1 max inventory. And then let's go look up at contingency slots. +1 max contingency. So, as generic as this one is, because they can only take one path, and they're semi locked into that. They like if they take B, so that they up their max inventory, they're not going to be able to take A or C. So they couldn't get the contingency or the potential. They kind of have to choose which direction. I could
So it'll be a little
growth.
different from the others.
I could add growth to a kit, like a generalist kit. If you just want your base stats to be cool, but yeah. Okay, so then that means that 4 and 6. So max inventory is 4 and 6 is contingency. So if they stay on the straight and narrow, they can just keep increasing that one thing. So no matter what, they're going to get an extra potential out of it because that's the core. Either that or the origin of it, I could give them +1 to max all 3, and then that's where it branches out from there. That's not a bad idea. Max potential inventory.
Is that going to be too powerful? I don't know. I've not seen much of the mechanics outside what you've shown me. But
I don't know. I feel like that's going to have to be play tested. But max potential. So max potential is giving you an extra D6 of potential a scene. Inventory means you can have one extra active item. So you don't have a carry limit because like a lot of like isekai animes and stuff like that, you have an item box. You can carry an infinite number of items, but you can only have so many active items at one time. This includes weapons, armor, and trinkets with effects and stuff like that. By default, you can hold 1 bulk in each hand or 2 bulk in both hands, and then have up to 3 bulk of items equipped on you. So this inventory means an extra 1 bulk of items. So like an extra, it could be like a slightly bigger armor this way, or maybe an extra like magical ring, or goggles that can see in infrared or something like that. It's almost like getting an extra in D&D attunement slot, basically.
Gotcha.
And then contingency is, think of them like the extra player intrusions. You get them per session. Like I said, they're more open and generic than like ciphers are. They're more like a player intrusion, where it's like it's a category, but you're customizing it how you see fit. And they're all like they're all about influencing the narrative in some way. Basically taking some GM control as a player. So that one's pretty beefy. We'll see. We'll try it out. I can see this. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, yeah, that is pretty beefy.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to play it out because I can see this right now possibly becoming a must grab. In which case, it's probably too good. But we'll have.
Yeah,
to
that
see.
was when you started to describe inventory and contingency. I thought that might be a lot for one ability to give all 3 of those.
Here, let's change this. Actually, +1, 2.
Could it?
Max potential, inventory, or contingency.
Yeah, that was going to be my suggestion, was making it a choice.
Yeah, we mix and match. Okay, so that means number 1 is a mixture of A and C. So potential and contingency. Okay. What kind of... where's my list of contingencies? So there. I gotta make more. I gotta make 36 of them in total. When you use a contingency, gain +1 momentum. That's like a mixture of getting extra momentum dice and something to do with contingencies.
But it's also hyper specific, so it's not going to be overly powerful.
Yeah. I mean, you're only going to be using, even if you went the route of the extra contingencies, yeah, I mean, you're only going to be using a couple of them per session at most.
Right.
All right. So number 3 is a mixture of A and B, which is potential and inventory. So inventory slots. The first time in a scene that you swap something, that you retrieve or swap something from your inventory, it does not cost you 1 momentum. Don't use the negative. It costs 0 momentum to do. You feat 2. There we go. First time in a scene that you use a feat to retrieve or swap something from your inventory, it costs 0 momentum for you to do. So it's almost like you're getting a free momentum out of it, and it involves interacting with your inventory. Oh, I think it's pretty good. In a scene, it's hyper specific, but I can still see people taking it occasionally. I mean, not all talents are going to be equally powerful. But if they find out they have the wrong weapon or something for a specific type of conflict, then they can like swap it out from something in their inventory, and they don't have to spend momentum to do it. Ooh, yeah.
Right. And if you've got a player who kind of plays the loot hoarder type character.
Yeah. Or they've been saving up that special item, just waiting to use it, and all of a sudden they get into a conflict and they're like, oh, this is the perfect time for that item. He's able to just take it out. All right, there we go. And then so the last one is going to be a mixture of inventory and contingency. Oh, that's one I got to think on.
Could it be like a right tool for the job style thing where their contingency gives them the necessary item from their inventory or something? Ooh. Or they have something they didn't know they had?
So there is a contingency for that, but what we could have is you can maybe have the option to always consume your contingency to have that one. Not resource cache. Well, resource cache should be random type of resource. Oh, here we are. Handy find. You find the exact piece of gear you needed for the scene. Okay, that's a good idea. You can how do I want to phrase this? When you use your contingency, can choose for it to be what was it called again? Handy something? Handy find. Handy find instead. And choose your when you use your contingency, you can choose for it to say have the effects of handy find instead. Yeah, that's not bad. Good idea. So this is like, I mean, this was nicely balanced. This was easy to balance because it didn't have much tinkering to it. It was mostly passive bonuses. I can see this. I don't know if it about being a must pickup, but I can see this probably being one of the more common talent matrices on a lot of characters. But it kind of expected so. I mean, you gotta have some way to improve. And once again, if this isn't on any kit's list, like you've got to choose your path carefully. You won't get all of these bonuses.
Yeah. Right, and so I think in some ways it self-balances. Obviously, you'll see that more once playtest starts, but
yeah. I also like it would be purely for a thematic thing, but I also included having a character level on your sheet, or every time you get a talent, you increase your character level. It would have no mechanical anything whatsoever, but the fact that you're playing in this digital world where your character can see their own stats and stuff, and they have an item box and everything, it feels weird if they didn't have like a level, quote unquote.
Wonder if that could be more a social thing. Like, I don't know how much fluff you've written, but if like gangs or clubs or something use level as a social thing, you can't come into this club if you're under level 5 or.
Well, I was gonna have the equivalent of like the guilds. They were called the Delvers something or other. Hello, Rodrigo. Yeah, I've been using Affinity for years. I went away from Adobe a long time ago. long time ago. I am testing out the new Affinity. It's buggy. I can't use it for client work. For client work, I still have to use version 2 because at least I know certain things will work properly. I do like the unified interface in version 3, but there's still some heavy bugs in it. I put it in. Was it just in the? I didn't have a lot written for it yet. There's the Delvers. Yeah, so there's the Delvers guilds, where you start with a rank of F and then work your way up. It's standard anime bullshittery. You're rated F to A unless you're really, really special. You might get the S rank. But it's not like hard coded for anything. It is mostly like a role play thing.
Got it.
Yeah, I'll have to think on it because I mean, if it's a fluff thing, it doesn't matter if I put it in or not.
True.
Lost where it was. There we are. All right. Now, obviously, for anyone watching, I will pretty this up and like so there's no orphans and everything once I've done like typing everything in and figuring stuff out. No sense doing it now. Okay. All right. So what else we got here? I'm gonna get rid of the generic destruction one. Dwarf. Let's add. We're gonna add one for dwarf. It's a form. You're short, sturdy, big beard, regardless of gender. Like ale, mine rock, and whatever other racially profiled bullshittery you want to add? Diggy that hole. There we go. That'll be good for now. I'm gonna fill these in afterwards. I just kind of want to get some categories in, and then we'll do like what we did with growth, and I'll start like filling them in.
Sounds good. I just had to laugh at the diggy hole reference.
There's a lot of little references in here. I threw that one in. It was in playing the game, I think. Yeah. Where it says screams dodge, and then it's the thing is what the green guy yelled at the underage kid he just punched. I'm like, I wonder how many people are gonna get that reference.
Yeah, I think you posted that one in the group chat.
Like, if you spend enough time online, you probably get that reference, but it's gonna be like, not everyone is gonna get that. They're gonna be like, what the hell do you mean punched an underage kid? What? Fucking dodge! But Mr. Piccolo! My gosh, I'm getting all the fucking things. And who's at my doorbell? Oh, it's the mailman. I have so many cameras in my house. We like all the cameras. Can't be too safe these days.
True. True.
Okay, so dwarf. We're gonna add an elf as well. Elf. You tree hugging hippie. Pointy eared bastard. Oh, sure, you're good with a bow. Your inability to digest meat really sucks. Lego my ass. I'll probably replace these with something better later, but that'll work for now. Let's do goblin. It should be before growth. You goblin. Tiny. Crane. Gross. Objectively far more interesting. Local hipster. Rip and tear. Hey, you goblin, you tiny green gross, but objectively far more interesting than your local hipster. I already got an improvement one there. Called it growth. I don't need Muleback. I was just going to have his carrying, but really that was in the growth one. You know what? Should I bother having goblin and orc? Just like one ugly green thing, I think should be enough.
Well, and depending on the setting, is there a difference? Because I think orcs in going back to Tolkien were originally just a variant of goblin.
Yeah. Orcs. Well, yeah, orcs were a variant of goblin, and Uruk-hai were specifically twisted elves by Saruman. But even the original orcs and goblins were actually just twisted variants of the other races because Sauron wasn't able to create, only pervert.
Same with Morgoth before him.
Yeah. Yeah, because Arrow Iluvatar was like, no, only I can create things, bitches. Except for that one Ainur that was able to create the dwarves, and then he was like, you're not supposed to be able to create things. What are you doing? And he's like, oh, sorry about that. Let me just put the dwarves away for a while.
Somebody who just tuned into this stream is going to be like, I thought this was about game development.
Yeah. What the fuck are you talking about, nerds? How do you know all this shit about Lord of the Rings? I've read all of them. Thank you. The Silmarillion, the Lost Histories, you fucking name it.
But have you read on fairy stories?
On fairy stories? Actually, no, I have not.
It's not related to Lord of the Rings. It's an academic like discourse he did on fairy tales.
Oh, okay. No, I haven't read that one.
I was just trying to be.
I did read all the Lord of the Rings stuff though, and I even have like the nice big official guide that goes into stuff. And oh yeah, I was a big Lord of the Rings person for a long time. But I'm your stereotypical like take it extra nerd. Let's just call it an orc, and I'm using K instead of C. I'm gonna change this. You big, thick with 2 C's, green, gross, but objectively far more interesting. Your local hipster, rip and tear. If you tiny, then you goblin. Instead, there.
You might want to put an R in front of big, like you are big, thick.
Oh yeah, you are big, thick, green, gross, and then but objectively far more interesting than your local hipster. So it went from like really like low brow semantics to like a fairly well crafted sentence, which is the point. All right, although I do have to move it now because it is no longer before G, but it is before P. So it's between, right now it's between growth and power fisting. Pet. So I wanted it, this one I wanted to have a pet of some kind. I was thinking animal, something demonic, and then or something like robotic. I'm thinking was what it would branch out to be.
My brain wants you to call it best friend, because we say like dog is man's best friend.
Oh, gotta have friends. Yeah, so it's all about friendship. So the origin talent doesn't necessarily mean you get the pet. It could just be about the fact that you work well with others, and then A, B, or C would be the 3 different types of pets. And then 1 to 6 would be like bonuses for those pets. Or do you think the pet should come at the origin?
I think it depends, because if the origin gives you the pet, but A, B, and C make it demonic, robotic, or animal, it's gonna get weird.
Yeah, because you won't be able to theme it right away. It'll be like a generic pet. It's either that or I have to make A, B, and C generic boosts on the specialized pet. Yeah, I think the origin will just be you work well with others, and then A, B, or C gets you the pet that you now work well with.
Right, because then you could have something for C, like 1 could be something that could apply to a robot or a demon. But, 6
or even
is
better, instead of animal, robot, or demon, I was wondering was wondering if instead of animal, it's just creature, like it would be like a person or an animal, and then fantasy, and then sci-fi.
Oh, so one of them could be like
Mundane,
sidekick.
fantasy, and sci-fi. I think that would be it.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah. So I like the idea of you calling it something about friends, because at that point it could be like almost anything. Or even just calling like besties.
I like it.
Besties. You're everyone. People fucking love you. I mean it. You're amazing. Some people want you. Some people want you. No, I won't go that far, because I do want to have another social one. They just want to be your bestest of friends. All right, I like it. And then I'll just put a note in here: mundane, fantasy, and then sci-fi. Which is gonna, when I get to those like mixed abilities, that's gonna be interesting. What I can do with mundane and sci-fi, or sci-fi and fantasy.
Yeah, that'll be a lot of fun, especially since the setting itself kind of overlaps them.
Fit of helping others. All right, we'll figure out details on that one later, but that's good. That's nice. All right.
Okay, it's been a lot of fun, but I gotta jump off here and go do some real world stuff for a bit.
Enjoy your real world later, bud. Thanks for hanging out.
Of course, this was fun.
Rage. The thick mist, sometimes all you see. Someone get your coffee order wrong? Cut you off in traffic? Not in line ahead of you? Fucking rage. There we go. I'll like it. Well, that's going to give an active ability, and then specializations, and then bonuses. Yes. All right. I need a drink and use the washroom. I'll be back in just a moment. So I unmute myself. There we go. All right. Let's go. Those some of my other things here. I think at one point I had some dropped frames. I wonder where that happened. Weird. All right, we got rage. So shadows. Are able to use and manipulate the world of shadows. Kind of creepy, but also really cool. Good on you. Oh, like it. I'm gonna have to. I'll wait till I. It's like I can add more pages now, or just when it gets here and it overflows, I can just alt click the thing and it just adds more pages with the appropriate template. It's good that way. All right, shadows. So socialing. Let's call this one. We gotta get interesting on some of these. Like cooking, for example. I'm going to change cooking to life skills. Basic life skills. So, in a highly dangerous, semi-post-apocalyptic, dystopian, fast-paced world like Earth in Neon Flow, is there anything more important than basic life skills like cooking? Well, yeah, like a lot of things, but that doesn't mean it's not an important skill. That doesn't mean it's not important to have. There we go. That'll do, you pig. And then I gotta move these as a result. Because cooking, I don't think I can fill out the whole thing with cooking. So it should go right here. I like it. I like it a lot. Gonna get rid of. Then we can have three: furry, feathery, and scaly. It gives us our three things here. Oh, I am so glad I went with these talent matrices. This is like perfect for this advancement. Oh, I love it. I mean, it's because I'm a good designer. Yeah. Yeah. I don't need playing the game up. Let's free up some resources. Okay. So I'm gonna call this one Golden Tongue, I think. Listen here, kid. You got the gift of gab. Braveheart style speech. Convincing others. Bullshit. Your teeth. You know just what to say. I like it. Okay, so that'll be for the social one. Spell casting. Let's do let's do magic. I have a better name for it. We'll just call it magic. Magic. God damn it. Helps if I zoom in. There we go. The neon manifested in you in a very magical, fantastical way. Probably because you're some sort of Lord of the Rings or D&D nerd or something. Whatever. Whatever. Dweeb Mind gave you spells and shit. That's awesome. Booyah. So, and I was gonna have Succor for helping others. Because I want support. I think I might still call it that for now. Love helping others. Sometimes before you even help yourself. Kind of weird in our late capitalist society. But hey, you do you, boo. Nah, just you do you. I'll take it. Tank. Yeah, I think I'll just call it tank still. It's got that gamey feel to it. Tank! Built like a brick shit house. Or as Lily said last night, a shit brick house. Brick shit. You are one sturdy, thick mother flipper. Motherfucker. Be hard to knock you down. That's for sure. I was going to do Tinker as a separate one, but I think Boffin is still. Or did I get rid of Boffin? Oh, did I get rid of it? Yeah, all right. We'll keep it Tinker for now. Technology, gizmos, thing, jigs. What's it's all those other fancy names for advanced items. Create, modify, create and modify. That's what you do with the neon powers of neon. You've taken this to the next level. All right. I'll like it. I'll like it. Instead of wilderness, let's do something like survivalism. Survivalist. Really, there's nothing in the thesaurus for survivalist. Adaptive? Really? I feel like this is one I'm gonna have to rename. I kind of want. I'm gonna do a survival or adaptation to your environment, and then I'll have like, basically like mundane fantasy, sci-fi, or something like that. Sure. I don't need worker because I got life skills. Ha ha.
주변 사람들이 말하지 But I need my space, my life and a minute now I really think it's my time I've been waiting patiently
Okay, so that's when we can add on to it. And then for restricted talents, that's when I'm going to start putting in some like very hyper specific, like dragon, breath of the dragon. Psi powers. Oops. Breath. Oh. Breath of the dragon. Oh, instead of breath of the dragon, taint. Taint. You saw the dragon's taint. Were tainted by the dragon. Oh man, taint is not the best word here. Whatever. You got dragon powers or some shit. Yeah, so you saw the dragon's taint, or were tainted by the dragon. Oh man, taint was not the best word here. Whatever, you know what I mean. You got dragon powers or some shit. And yeah, we can have like breath weapon, wings and claws or something. Yeah, I like it. And then we can do one here. Oop, updating numbers. Man, I'm already up to 74 pages and I haven't, like, half of these chapters are still empty. We will call this one Brain Powers. Your brain came with extra wrinkles. Now comes with extra wrinkles. Psychic powers of all kinds. Crackle.
I kinda adore you, but don't get too proud. You're like my favorite snack, I won't say it out loud.
From your gray matter.
We all know you're not, but hey, you're the best kind of
I think one of the things I want to do, I do want a way where you can add talent matrices to your kit list. I think that's going to be a motivation. Because there was one or two here where I wasn't super happy with the boon. Better yourself. I think I'm going to change the better yourself one. Adding a new permanent facet in an empty slot. Like, this is mid. This is meh. can add talent matrix that you have access to
We all know you're not.
as
You're the best kind of weird that I got. Your songs are in my head, it's on repeat. The awkward dance I do, but only on your screen. I won't say you're perfect,
to your kit
but hey, you're the best kind of weird.
list. Allows you to unlock all talents matrix if you wish. To not unlock, purchase.
In a world
Purchase all
ordinary,
instead,
playful dream.
only 3.
Turning everyday moments into a sparkling scene. I won't say you're perfect, I won't say you're perfect.
There we go.
No, you're not.
There we go.
We're that
So if you do the better yourself thing, the boon is to add an extra matrix to your kit list. I like that. Because especially if you get these restricted, they're not going to be part of any kit list. So you're always going to be like, what if you want to focus on being like psychic crazy person? And you want all the psychic powers. You're going to have to do the better yourself thing to unlock it and add it.
But hey, you're the best kind of weird that I got.
Yeah. And then let's add those couple of ones. Let's do. Yeah, I was thinking maybe vampire and werewolf and do something else as like a spooky form, but no, I think I'm gonna leave them separate. I am gonna do vampire form and werewolf form. Description. I'll write it afterwards, whatever. I'm just getting the basics down for now. So obviously I got to think of a lot more restricted talents. Before I start balancing them, let's just think of some more categories, I do believe, on some restricted talents. Yeah. All right. Let's add flight. Oops. You know what? Let's. Okay. We can fill it out. All the details later. We're just adding more and more shit.
All the right words pours from your mouth, holding me tight, saying I'm all yours, but I feel in my gut. I see you.
Do like a monstrous transformation one.
La 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 lie. Tell me no lies. Tell me no lie. La 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 lie. Tell me no lies. Tell me no lie.
What should we call it?
No lies. Tell me no lie. La 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 lie. Let's talk about your ex. La 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 lie. La 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 lie. La 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 lie. Let's talk about your ex. La 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 lie. La 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 lie.
I should add one for range stuff. I have power fisting. Actually, I'm actually going to change this to rip and tear. There's going to be like melee focused.
Now you need to talk. Tell me no lie, la 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 lie. Tell me no lies.
Your powerful fists or weapon skills of might and fury are way more mighty or fury than almost anyone you know. You've got 2 tickets to the fucking gun show. You're all locked and loaded like Henry Cavill with a mustache in a bathroom. You know, I'm just going to get rid of that last reference, but... We're locked and loaded. Okay, and then I'm going to do a ranged one. I got to move Rip and Tear, though. Okay. Then I need a ranged one. Could just call it shooter. Yeah, let's just call it shooter for now. All right. Kung Fu powers. Sure, let's do it. Either I think of a... Nah, I was thinking I could think of like a wuxia type of title, but I think I'll just leave it for Kung Fu. I can always rename this shit afterwards and move it around, like whatever. That's too generic. I want to make it more like specific abilities. So, power fisting is gonna be this one. Yeah. Let's do one here. Laser sword. Okay, we can fill more of those out later. What I think I gotta do is I gotta start filling out some of these so I can start maybe making some pre-gen characters so we can start doing actual play testing of this. I gotta get these going. All right. Fill in an empty facet with that represents your Represents the beginning of your change into a less human form. This asset starts at +1. If you have no empty facets, replace an existing one. Character facets and empty is not supposed to be capital. If you have no empty character facets, an existing one, increase its bonus by +1. Take another form, talent, a different, lose this form, that character facet becomes blank. Oh, getting windy out there. Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna have furry, feathery, or scaly. Your form. Go away, pop up for Adobe Acrobat. Fucking, I hate that my computer has like pop-ups. It's a paid version of Windows too. Why am I getting fucking advertising pop-ups? I hate life. Who's pinging me for what? Oh, for games. Hitman 3 makeshift pack. No, thank you. I'm okay. I'm good. I'm good. All right. That of a vicious mammal, like tiger or bear. A humanoid version of a large vicious mammal, 2 M's, like a tiger or a bear. Natural attack. Like a I need gear. Stuff and things. That's what I'm looking for. Natural attack that is like a Let's say a hatchet. I don't have any really good. I need a higher damaging one for common weapons. Aside from chainsaw. Oh no, the sword does 2 damage. Let's just say mod plus 0, DD plus 2. And no traits or bulk. Up to you what form this attack takes. Claws, bite, etc. Okay. It'd be really fucked up if someone takes this one and unlocks it to get the full thing and they take the furry, feathery, and scaly all together. Like, you're gonna be like, what? A fucked up, like, man, bear, pig. Like, that would be great. Great. Okay. So the next one is going to be of feathery. Or form. Here. You know what? Bird person. Wings that grant flight. At not much at the same speed you can normally move on land. If you have the flight talent, if you unlock the flight talent matrix, you already have its origin talent purchased. And scaly. Even of a lizard or lizard or reptile. Let's do this lizard, tile, or snake. Maximum resistance dice. You always start seeing minimum of 1 resistance die due to this as well. All right, like it. Okay, so now we're gonna do some specializations. So let's do the 2, 4, and 6 hyper specializations. So the 2, your innate attack has its you can add +2 you can increase the effectiveness of your innate attack and add +1 to your mod and DD damage dice, or +2 to one of those. Let's flip that. You can add +2 both. So you can increase the effectiveness of your innate attack. You can add +2 to your mod, to its mod or damage dice, or +1 to both. I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing?
In a world full of ordinary, you're my playful dream.
Or
Every day,
I could let them take this over and over and stack it and just give a +1 each time. Nah, I want to limit it. I don't like infinite stacking. People can break shit that way. Okay, I talk myself out of it right away. Not totally unwell, thank you. Oh, mixed. That's fair. We're all kind of going through some bullshit right now. I say I'm doing really well, but part of me's not. But that's okay. We're getting through it. We're doing stuff. Okay, so number 4 is going to be the feathery. You can only carry yourself and Warren and your gear while flying. 4, you can now carry another person while flying or object of say 100 kilograms, being no more than 100 kilograms. You can now carry another person or object weighing no more than while flying. There we go. You can now carry another person or object weighing no more than 100 kilograms while flying. Okay. I like it. And then 6 should be for the scaly. I'm going to up this a little bit. No, because it'll stack with tank. You increase max minimum resistance dice by an additional +2. I don't need due to this. You always start a scene with a minimum of 2 resistance dice. All right, now I need the hybrid abilities. This ought to get interesting. Oh. Okay, so number 1 is a mixture of A and C. So that is going to be it's furry and scaly. So I can't rely on the abilities of A or C because you don't know how you got there. You could have gotten there through A, which gives you the attack, or you could have gotten there through C, which gives you the damage resistance. So it needs to be something that is not on both. How about land speed? Your form allows grants you a greater speed than normal. So I think I had, let's close this. I've gone through so many changes in this system, I don't even remember anymore. I should still have support, sway. I thought I had a shift. Did I get rid of it? There's zones. You can move anywhere within your current zone as part of it, or move to an adjacent zone as a feat. Yes, okay. I think I'm gonna, so I can write it as you can move to an adjacent zone as part of a different feat. Okay. You can move to an adjacent zone as part of another feat. Your anthro form. There we go. So, number 3 is A and B, so feather and fur. Let's say nimbleness. Your form is lithe and agile. You have +1 momentum on any declared feat involving movement, balance, agility.
They say love is never making without someone wanting more.
Includes
But I know
dodging.
I can take it. It's the only
Now,
thing I know for sure. Baby, it ain't
dodging, movement, balance, or agility. Okay.
feels, it ain't love. But I'm in it for all the thrills, yeah. Why does it have to
And the final one, number 5, is feathered and scaly.
I need your love and I don't need your love.
This one's a bit harder. I gotta think on this one.
And I don't need your love. Oh, I need
I gotta think on this one.
your love. It's the only thing I know for sure. Baby, it ain't love. But I'm loving the way it feels. It ain't love.
On one hand, it kind of sucks that I'm not multi-streaming to Twitch and Moonbeam anymore. But like, I don't know. I was paying for Restream, and actually, I think I still have it for another couple of months. But I don't know. Now that I'm not streaming to 2, and I wasn't a big Twitch streamer. I was before I was doing the streaming to 3 platforms. I was just kind of streaming to YouTube, like I am at this moment. I don't know. I think I'm just gonna stick with YouTube for a little while. I'm not against streaming on Twitch, and I think if I do just games, like if I want to like do a little bit of variety streaming where I play a game or something, I might stream on Twitch just for that. But I think for things like RPG development and stuff like this, I'm probably gonna stick with YouTube, like just YouTube for the moment. I think it's probably for the best. Just focus my element, focus myself in one platform. We'll see how I go in the future. Right now, money's a little on the tight side, so like that extra, whatever it was, like $16 a month or something for Restream to like make it. Like I know you can set up OBS to multi-stream right from OBS, but I don't always have the most stable of internet connection right now, and multi-streaming to it will just tax my system. So I don't know. Well, for now, I'm just gonna stream YouTube, whatever. All right. So this is between the furry and I'm also wondering as I'm filling this out, should I give? I was thinking of giving them a special names for each one, like A, B, and C could be furry, feather, scale. But I don't think I'm gonna bother. You just list that in your talent trees that, you know, I've got anthro. This way on the character sheets, we can do pages that are just gonna be like talent, and it's just be like name and then like ABC and then origin, ABC, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So yeah. Or I'll probably only have it where it's like 2 spots with all of those, and then with multiple spots where it's just like origin, letter, number. We'll see when I get to the actual character sheet. I had to make sure, because I've done so many like overhauls and changes, because I try to do the smart thing and not get married to my work. So I haven't made the character sheet yet because I've changed some things. Yeah. I gotta go through and really clean some things up for having switched it back to being a player facing system as well. Don't you know? So this is a mixture of the scaly form and the feathery form. So I don't want it to rely on the resistance or the flight, because we don't know which direction they're coming in from for that. What about sight? Reform. Grants you advanced sight. Can now see in darkness. Some amount of light. Are you like your dinosaur scaly form or feathery form? Well, I try to take a scientific approach to stuff, so I prefer feathery form. Because most of the dinosaurs we're discovering had feathers, but we do think that there was still a variety of them that probably didn't have a lot in the way of feathers. We're unsure, of course, but it depends on the types of dinosaurs. So I try to stick as realistic as possible. Like I'm in the middle of drawing a Deinonychus for an adventure that I was hired to do, and I was hired to do the art and layout and stuff, and in it, it's like a frost Deinonychus, so like special, but like originally it was just gonna he's like, oh, make it a scaly dinosaur with icicles off. I'm like, okay, cool. And then when I gave the rough to the person, they're like, I had feathers on it as well as all the frost and stuff, and they're like, oh, I don't know if I wanted feathers on it. And I'm like, but they had feathers. So yeah, but it depends. It depends on what, if you're doing like the Jurassic Park thing where they're like being specifically engineered, then who's to say they have to have feathers? If the genetic engineering where it's like, we don't want feathers. Yeah. See in darkness if there was some amount of light. I was going to specify a bunch of ifs then, but you can now see in areas of darkness. Let's keep it simple. If it's a frost habitat, wouldn't it have feathers, or am I off there? Well, it wasn't just that it was a frost habitat. It was the creature itself was magically a frost, cold creature. Although in my games, if this was my adventure entirely, I had some hand in it, but if this is my adventure entirely in a cold environment, I like to put fire creatures, because wouldn't it make sense that the opposite of that environment, if you were in a volcano, wouldn't a cold creature kind of be there to try and counteract the hot environment rather than add on to it? And if you're in a cold environment, what about having fire drakes as the sort of opposite, because it helps cool them down so they don't overheat? I don't know. I feel like people wouldn't expect that either. They'd be like, oh, it's a frost environment, we're gonna be fighting frost things. No, it's a frost environment. They're trying to cool themselves down, not to overheat. They're a fire thing. So, but that's just me. I would just throw it into take people aback. Like, what? Okay. Booyah. I just want to get enough of these going. I mean, I wouldn't mind doing most of them today. I want to get at least enough of them going that we can start doing some pre-gens and we can start doing some play tests. I gotta actually make some kits, but I'll wait to do the kits until I've at least got some talents going on here. Okay. Augment. I think I'll No, fuck it. I was like, I'll come back to it, but like, whatever. Let's just do them. Let's just do it.
Words from your mouth,
Don't procrastinate.
holding me tight, saying I'm all yours, but I feel
Okay, so we're gonna have
right.
energy, the neon,
Tell me no lie,
tech, fantasy shit.
tell me no lie.
Okay, so augment
Tell me no lies, tell me no lie.
your
Let's talk about your ex. Let's talk about your ex.
your aura has begun to change to improve you. Your potential. No.
It's been a year, but you struggle to keep pace.
I'm gonna do it like this one.
My heart is a mess.
It's gonna be like kind of like the anthroform. Fill an empty character facet with one that represents the beginning of your change into an augmented state.
Let's talk about your ex.
This facet starts at +1. If you have no empty character facets, replace an existing one and increase its bonus by +1. If you lose, and then you can't lose it.
Tell me, are you really over her? Or am I gonna be the very next? I can feel your heart race to her neck.
If this is overwritten with a permanent stain, once that stain is removed,
Let's talk about your ex.
you get the asset back.
Tell me no lie, 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 lie. Tell me no lies, tell me no
Its
Tell me no lies, tell me no lie, 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 lie.
previous upgraded modifier
Let's talk about your ex.
is modifier, even if it was upgraded. Yes. Once again, don't worry about anyone in like that does like book layout or anything like that. You'd be like, oh, you're leaving some orphaned text and stuff. I will fix it later. I am still developing. I know there's going to be like orphans and some formatting issues and stuff. We're not. We're just getting text on paper right now. We'll figure it out after. I have a lot of friends in like development and layout and stuff like that. So I'm just waiting for them people to be like, hey, what are you doing? My thing plugged in for my watch? It is not. My watch is dead. All right. So now we are going to do energy. I almost wonder if this should be a restricted one, but I'll leave it for now. So the first one's going to be energy. You are able to instilled with the very essence of the neon. Constantly glow. You glow a scintillating. Did I spell that right? Hello? Oh, check typing will. It wasn't turned on. There we go. Now it's working. Okay. Okay, I spelled scintillating right. I didn't realize it wasn't turned on. Okay. with a scintillating rainbow of neon colors. Light up the local area. Suppress. 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 Oh. Oh. Yeah, and then we can ignore this, or can we learn? We can learn it. You can suppress this light anytime, as long as you wish. Oh, like it. Okay. Let's do this. Let's change this a bit to be like, oh, fuck it. It doesn't need to be in order for that. Let's do, next is going to be Chrome, Cyberware, and Tech. Replace parts of your body. Choose either +1 resistance to your max resistance dice, or +1 to damage dice with all attacks, weapon attacks. Like it. Yeah, I can do that. And then this one's gonna be fantasy shit. Magical runes. Adorn your body. Can create minor magical effects at will. Tiny illusions, moving small objects, short distance. Do another. I will do effects. I was going to do tricks, but effects. Such as moving changing the flavor or smell of something. And that's just as such as other effects may be possible. There we go. Awesome. Oh, no, wait. This is more for spell casting. That would be more magic. It's like, good ability, wrong place. That is best left for the magic the magic task or magic talents tree. Whatever. I'm tired. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I still want this to be augmented in some way. Oh, how about nature instead of magic? Embraced by nature. The power of the forest. I don't know what that means yet. But do something naturey. Also, I think I'm going to change this because this just gives you a light source, and this is giving you like pretty beefy bonuses. So I think I want to do something. Chrome cyberware and tech has begun to replace parts of your body. What that means yet, I don't know. Okay. This is why sometimes when I'm on a roll and I'm designing and I'm streaming it, it's like, great, bam, bam, bam. Like getting all these like written down and stuff. Been very good stream. And then sometimes I get to the nitty gritty bits like this, where if you're developing, you're just kind of sitting here and staring at the screen and letting your brain work, which does not a good stream make. So yeah, I'm just like sitting here being like, think of the details. And then anyone watching is like, yeah, come on, think of the details, please. So, don't you know?
A minute ride made me lose my way. 1 minute high, knew my life would change. And I was
I think part of it is I'm also starting to kind of get hungry. I normally don't eat for another hour, but kind of hungry for some reason. It's only 2 something, and I did eat at like 10. I'm just having a day. Maybe I've been streaming 3 hours. That went by fast. Yeah, I've already been streaming 3 hours. I could probably use a break anyways. So I think this is where I'm going to stop. I think this is good for me. We've got a lot accomplished today. We had Devin on for a little while, who was like hanging out with us and doing some stuff. Went over sort of the basics of the game, which obviously is coming along pretty good. We've got, I mean, we're up to like 74 pages and I still have a lot of stuff to figure out yet. So I'm pretty happy with the way the development on this is going. So I think that is good for today. Don't forget to check out all of my links down below. You can go to my Ko-fi, which has a donation area to it if you want to maybe toss a couple of bucks for this Canuck for some brewskis. Money has been a bit tight lately, but only if you've got it to spare. You know, no pressure or anything like that. I do have some books on there and some stuff on my drive-through RPG as well. So feel free. The links should be down there for my drive-through RPG if you want to check it out. I am going to be on the Cypher Unlimited stream tomorrow. I'm going to be co-hosting at 8:30 p.m. on their Twitch. So it is twitch.tv/Cypher Unlimited Live. I don't 100% know what the topic is going to be. I think it is about digital versus analog in tabletop role-playing games. At least I think that's what it's going to be about. We're going to find out. I'm not entirely sure. But I will be on there 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. So if you want to see more of me, I will be on their channel tomorrow. And I did just do an interview that I'm going to be probably releasing a video for within the next week or two with a board game creator from Germany. I'm a little torn on the video because the board game looks really good. And I was very excited about it. And as we're nearing the end of the video, he does go, oh, by the way, a lot of the art assets are AI, generative AI. And I'm like, okay, we're going to have a conversation. I'm not very supportive of using generative AI assets in a published product like that. But I feel like maybe it is a video we can turn into a conversation. I don't like making drama videos or videos. And you know what? Let's change here for a second. I don't like making drama videos or videos about stuff like that that could be in a negative light towards somebody. But I don't know. I think it might be something for more conversation in the community. Just because we don't talk about it doesn't mean it goes away. And maybe it is something we could talk about. So I am going to release the video, hopefully to start more conversation on the subject. I'm sure plenty of you have heard such conversations on it before. But why not? Let's get into it. Let's get that nitty gritty. And although I have talked about my viewpoints on generative AI in the industry before, I don't think I have like a video where like I've specifically sort of said my viewpoint and stance on it and whatnot, which is heavily judgmental towards using it in a finished product. I can see some of the points where someone would say they needed to use it for one reason or another, but I might have some rebuttal points against its use, especially when it comes to the way the training data and stuff works. Not going to get into that today. I don't think that's going to be the focus that I want to get into right now, especially when I'm about to leave. So that will be in that video. Maybe we can spark a conversation. Other than that, I don't have too much more going on. If you have bought into the Void Home early access, just a reminder that is not on a hiatus. It is still being developed, but the early access won't be updated for quite a while because I'm waiting for the licensing and the open up the rules and everything for the next version of Cypher, since Cypher is the foundation for the Void Home game, even though it's a heavily modified version of Cypher. I still see a lot of really good advancements in that new edition. Things that have been publicly shown, one or two things that have not been fully publicly shown, and there's some things I want to use, but I can't yet because it's not out there yet, and we don't have the licensing for it. So I do have to wait for the licensing. So Void Home is in the middle of still more production and finishing it up. Like, obviously, for anyone that's bought into it, you realize the book is mostly finished. It is just going to be receiving some updates and changes for the new edition, just advancements on what we already have. The version that's out there, the foundation of the mechanics, like the way I changed the primary resolution mechanics and everything, that's going to stay the same. That's not going to change. I like that difference from regular Cypher. I like using those D6s and making it easier rather than the multiply it by 3 for the target number to roll the D24. And that one's, I like the way I have it better, but that's why I made it that way. So for Void Home, you can expect it's still chugging along. I have to wait for Monte Cook Games to do their thing before I can really get it out there. My hope is that by sort of tinkering with it in the background and getting the changes made ahead of time, that pretty much as soon as the license drops, I can just be like, and here we go. I can get it out there, get a few more play tests in to make sure everything is Gucci, and then we can get the final layout in. Like, I've got the layout template done, and I've even got some of the parts that I know, like the fluff parts about the setting and everything, already laid out, because that's not going to change regardless of anything. It's just the mechanics area, especially adding, I'm still not sure if I'm going to be adding the wounds thing or if I'm doing something else with that, but the way the foci and the types are reformatted, I can't get into it too much, but I like it and I kind of want to use it. So things like that are going to be changed. Probably still some changes to some of the abilities, stuff like that. Anywho, whatever. I think that's about all I've got to say on wrapping this up. You're like, everyone has probably already left at this point because you're like, dude, he's taking forever just to say goodbye. And I get that. So I'm just going to leave now. As always, stay healthy, stay safe, and have a good one. Okay?